이거
You know what I need? Thank you for asking.
Yeah, I think we have to walk back this way. 그러니까. 엄청 크다, 썰니까. 그러게. 아, 여기야? 샌디버가 진짜 차가워. 저희가 가야고 그랬는데. 아, 맛있겠다. 예전에 그 맛이야? 지난번 먹었나?
사람이 많아서 일일이 깔 시간이 없어.
안주에 있는 우리 간다.
아 있어? 섞어 먹어야 이건 이게 치즈야?
I think that's shrimp.
That's just pepper.
이게 치즈 같아.
That's cheese. That one of the garlic cloves. Oh damn.
If I can drop off my car at home and walk over, that's perfect.
Alright, off the camera. You guys watch a lot of movies? Yeah. Alright, so this is the first one we'll see. This is Jurassic World. The gate itself is completely fake. There's no electricity. And then these two were given to us as a gift from Okay, they go in the same direction. Towards the ending of this scene, they go off of a cliff into the ocean. You can see down there, there's no cliff and no ocean. Yes? Ocean's way over there. What I did for your safety, everybody, let's take the ocean up and
거야?
이 흰건 뭐지? 맛이 달라. 약간 숯불 맛 나는데? 로코모